Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're starting Q.U.B.E Director's Cut. I can immediately say that I would like it to, when I put the mouse over it, explain what Q.U.B.E stands for, but apparently it's Quick Understanding for Block Extrusion, perhaps? Now, I just did a spotlight of Q.U.B.E in its original form, which is not on Steam anymore. It's a 2011 game. This Director's Cut came out in 2014, so I'm 5 years behind, much like how I just finished the Talos Principle DLC, The Road to Gehenna, which was 5 years behind too. And one of my suspicions was perhaps the reason why they took off the old game and put on a new game was because they were going to 64-bit. I can confirm that is not the case. In fact, on this menu, while there is this extras menu for Against the Clock, that was in the main game according to achievements. In fact, the achievements are exactly the same. Also, the achievements are insane. Like, play the game 500 times. Insane. So, having two copies of almost exactly the same games is not really a benefit for an achievement hunter when you have to play 500 times. That's hard to cheat. There seems to be a leaderboard that was added, and a Facebook page and Twitter page. Maybe those links are updated, but maybe not. I would also say that the company that made this goes by the name of Toxic Games. Probably not the best name for your company. It'd be a probably smart move to rebrand. It does have also a sector select unlocked before you even play the game, which is nice, so you kind of know what you're getting into. But otherwise, the graphics options are the same, and when you first launch it, it's all the same. It doesn't recognize that my monitor is at 1080p instead of 1080p. It wants to do VSync, even though I don't want VSync. It doesn't have any of the anti-aliasing turned on. It's just down at 0. It doesn't have the anti-stropy, which I'm still not sure what that is. It didn't have pretty much any of these things clicked. So it seems like for the menu they kind of just copied and pasted thing. Brightness is still just one slider hidden behind the menu when there's really no reason for it to be there. You could have just put it under graphics if you wanted to do that. Sound is even worse now, because in the main game it was a master volume and music and sound effects. Now they've removed music and sound effects, so there's no way to control that. And I think the menu still is probably a little bit quiet. And there's nothing here, I guess, that I could change for the gamepad control. So this might really fall closer to a partial controller support because of that. The thing we needed was for the game, we need the game to run faster, and I don't know if I just turned up the mouse sensitivity, if that might turn up the analog stick sensitivity. As far as I know, there is no way in Windows by default to make a control stick on an Xbox One controller move things faster. That's like, I don't know how you would do that. Even it would take some real programming. Also, I guess I can select things unless the mouse is not on the screen, but so like I'm pressing up and down on the controller, it's not highlighting anything. If I highlight something first and press up and down on the controller, it works. That's enough setup though. The difference between the Director's Cut and the original version, and why you should definitely play the Director's Cut in my opinion, is because it'll probably have some little tweaks.
And what if it didn't kill him?
This is
With
new.
all due respect, your best guess is
this
still
audio
just a
log
guess.
was not in the main
We need to
game.
have faith in the possibility of good. Wait, hold on. His oxygen consumption's going up. I think he's alive. He's conscious. Hey, go steady down there. You've been out for a couple weeks. 15 days, in fact. They thought you were dead. If it wasn't for your life suit, you probably would be.
So you immediately get told that you're wearing a life
There's been a
suit.
complication. We can't link it to your POV camera, and it looks like communications are only working one way. You can hear me, I hope, but I can't hear you. That means we don't know how badly you were affected by
door
the
was
transportation. If you're feeling confused or disoriented, you should know that deep space travel can do you pretty serious psychological damage, especially to your memory. Even a few hours out there in the dark can cause permanent problems. I'm gonna be honest with you. Mission controller concerned you might have no idea who you are or why you're in there. If that's true, I have some difficult facts for you. You're a long way from Earth. A very long way. But every single person on the planet is depending on you. That thing you're inside right now, whatever it is gonna hit Earth in the next few hours. And if it does, that's the end of everything. You need to decipher and dismantle it from the inside before that happens. I just hope you haven't forgotten how. We all do. Now listen carefully. This is important. The reason why it's me talking to you and not mission control is because you're too far out into deep space. Their signal can't reach you.
This is different than the first game.
I'm Commander Novak. I'm an astronaut on board the International Space Station. I'm gonna relay everything they tell me, but the bad news is, every time I orbit around the far side of the Earth, I'll move out of radio range. When that happens, you're gonna be on your own for a while. Just stay calm and keep your head straight until I get back into range. Okay, this is it. I'm orbiting out of range now. I'll be back soon. Just remember what I've told you, and believe it.
When somebody tells me to believe something, I'm not particularly inclined to believe it. But already, I can tell the director's cut is way better of an experience, because we went through the first 2 of at least 7 according to the achievements, but it felt like 9 sections of the game with no audio, no backstory, nothing. Now all of a sudden I know this is like and this is different because there were 9 squares here. In the spotlight I did of the original version of this game, there were 9 squares and I did 2 of them with no dialogue. We've just gotten through the tutorial and we've been given a whole sci-fi story. It might be a load of bull, but it works fine by me. And let's see. The controllers are different. Like, when I first did this, it was the left and right trigger. Now it's not doing anything. A is still jump. X and Y. Game? And I am moving faster. Like, let me go in the options here and see if maybe there was some other options on this. Left glove is left mouse button, right mouse button. So maybe I have to actually map it over to this and apply the changes. Interesting. Start menu. The start button doesn't take you out of the menus immediately. Still, you have to go back and to resume, and there's that defective ping that you can't control in audio. There, let's try this again. Alright, so I don't know why. So in case you didn't watch the spotlight of the original version of this game, it's a left glove and a right glove, like Portal, although in Portal it was a left gun and a right gun. So I'm gonna try and speed through this a little bit. The red blocks are moved individually, the blue blocks are jumper platforms that you reset, and you only get 1 chance at it. It seems like I actually had to pull backward there too. The amount of distance you are flung from seems to be slightly inconsistent. between different blue blocks. You still can't turn off the circular dot, which is pointless because you get this little dot that glows. So maybe there's an option that turns off the glowing dot when you click on one of these white walls, which the white walls don't do anything. And maybe that's the point. Now these yellow ones work in groups of 3s, and if you pull, they'll always be one step taller. So this will look like this if I click on this block. It will look like this if I click on the middle block, and it will look like this if I click on that block. I kind of still feel like the blue blocks are being forced into being a block that needs to be extruded for just for kind of random reason. I think most games of this style are inspired by Portal and other games like this have different variety, like, so not everything in Portal 1 directly revolves around portals. Some of it is just a cube you put on a weight. Some of it is just a like, I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff too, but yeah, not every single puzzle is solved by the portal gun. Now that this is moving a little bit faster, there's arguably a little bit less tighter controls in this. For a moment here, I'll have to get used to this, and eventually I think I will be at a point where I'm having to speed run through puzzles. Now this puzzle here, if you had brought this in front of that third one, then you can't extract the 3. So the yellows always work in groups of 3, so you have to extract something along this line and kind of make a staircase out of it. And you do seem to need to make a forward momentum push. So far, these puzzles feel the same. We're gonna get in this room. The room is gonna start closing in on us. So yeah, this feels like a I don't know if I just stopped the walls from closing in on me, or if it was always going to stop there. I think it's always going to stop there, frankly. Alright, so I need to move this back one. Yeah, it feels like one of the 70s or 80s sci-fi movies where you're coming across some weird alien ship and having to investigate it. And that's what I assume this is some kind of equivalent to a weird alien ship. It took control away to show a cutscene, and a loading screen, which I don't believe there was a loading screen in the original version of the game. So that seems odd. It also seems like both of this version and the director's cut are both running on DirectX 9, which is not particularly a very new graphics coding language, but it is pretty well compatible. But even in 2011, if they were forward thinking, they should have been programming for OpenGL or DirectX 10. Not that that would really help much. So the green block seems to be temporarily programmed, so you'll find play buttons and rewind buttons, and it will just move the button, the green block, back to where it was. But it seems to not affect that one. So if there was a way to move the screen block, which there isn't in this tutorial thing. Now what they've done wrong here is I would have had it so that you have to hit the reset button probably right about here, and then had the green block right here. That probably, I doubt you could jump from this point to that point easily, or you know, you could have but then you know, there's also danger if you hit the reset button standing over it, you might not see the green block move. But that, even in this case, there's lots of ways you can not see it disappear, and you really have to stand back here to see it disappear and reappear. So they've failed to make it understandable as well as it should have been understandable. And so the green blocks are a little bit smaller, and you just push them around. And then this time we're making stairs, and it kind of feels like the puzzle would go on from that point, but no, you just need the stairs. So it might not have been a terrible idea to, at least in this early puzzle, have a holographic green cube telling you that that's where the green cube should go. That is a sort of concept that is explored more in about 3 puzzles, and so there really wouldn't have been a problem with introducing that earlier. Also, by the way, my fingers are blue because I would be interacting with the blue one. You can't directly interact with the green cube, so I'm going to do this and then pull this out so that that catches it, which means anytime this is launched, it is going to move kind of slow now, even in the director's cut. Like, while the body movement has been sped up, a lot of the other movement hasn't. I believe this is a new puzzle. I don't recall doing this one, but maybe I did. And if you reset, by the way, it will move that red one out of the way, or whatever else is in the way. Hit that. Hit that. Let's see. I wonder if maybe I'm supposed to do that. See how it kind of wiggles? Feels like their physics engine that they've got going here is not that good either. There we go. Yeah, a little barrier concept there to make you solve the puzzle from where you're standing. Might have been a smart move too. Maybe that's unnecessary and that limits the player's choice of how they want to look at the puzzle and solve it. But yeah, I wouldn't be upset if that was the case. So they made the introductory section longer so you could hear that dialogue. I don't recall this.
Thing best. Name is 919.
The thing is 919. So we got a message from something somewhere. So you're supposed to, I guess we could just fail it for fun, use this play button to get this ball. This is the first time we're doing the ball, to roll all the way to this green area here that you can't go through, and the ball doesn't actually crack the glass and make it so you can fall down there. So it's not even a very obvious explanation of what you're supposed to do. But yeah, had they had that holographic green endpoint as an indicator earlier, we kind of know what you're supposed to do here a little bit better. Like, most people definitely not gonna run into a problem. They're still gonna figure it out just fine. But there's ways to chisel away, hopefully, at any bit of difficulty. And even when you solve this puzzle, unfortunately, you kind of have to solve it this way, which means you don't get a full I solved it all in one move. And it just kind of hit that, and it didn't even roll downward. It just kind of disappeared. So if the game has to load in an audio cutscene each time, and has to load in a new level set each time, it's way worse than the Talos Principle, I can tell you that. That game on my current PC did not require any of that. And see, I'm not sure I went any further in the original game. Either that or this is new, because I don't recall seeing any purple at all. Interesting. Undoubtedly, there was a decent amount of stuff that I did not see. Yeah, like, kind of unknown. If I only spent about 30 minutes looking at it, I'm 4 times the charm here. I'll figure out how to spin this the way I want it to spin, which is in this direction, so I can actually land on that platform. Let me see if this would be any better. Seems like that doesn't line up. Seems like this is the way. There we go. There's a game called Echo that I want to cover that came out about a year or two ago, that has a very white environment, that has a lot more items in it, but it's very minimalist and black and white in its design style, and it is kind of a puzzle, but it takes the puzzle in a kind of completely different direction, which is kind of appreciated too. I think a lot of people, of the small niche group of people that did get inspired by Portal, I think a lot of them took the wrong messages from it and thought that, oh, you just need a minimalistic 3D puzzle platforming game, and they're kind of forgetting or not remembering that 3D puzzle platforming games have existed since Mario 64, and it's not really a case of just those elements. It's also a case of we need a story, we need to be interested in and inspired to do the puzzle and the platforming, and without that story, it's just kind of repetitive and dull. Also, I think a lot of people thought that portals were
Hello?
just a basic,
Can you hear me?
simple concept, and they really
No
weren't.
point in saying that, is there?
It just got blocked.
I'm gonna have faith. I'm at the peak of my orbit again, so fingers crossed this is getting to you. I've been speaking with Mission Control. They're worried about you. Because your radio's out, we don't know if you've lost your memory or not. If you have, it could be bad for the mission. One of the methods they use to bring back memories for amnesiac patients is to talk to them about important events in their lives. So, before you left, you wrote yourself a letter, just in case. It's a letter to you about you. Mission Control gave me a transcript. We think it's for the best that I read something
I
to
got
you.
stuck. Interesting. Didn't really cut out there.
Okay, well, first, you're married. You have no children. You live in Colorado Springs, but you got married in Iceland. That's nice. You... Damn. I'm orbiting out of range. I'll read more if you're still there.
I feel like in the director's cut, these cubes move in more increments than they did in the main game. Instead of just being 100% up and 100% down, seems to be several layers, several different altitudes they can be at. Like, I feel like a lot more of the main game would have been this: getting to your block, pressing A to jump. It seems like they basically have, at this point, reconfigured the room we were just in earlier. Frankly, we have not seen enough content in this game for that to be something that I would want to have happen. It's way too early for a remix. Interesting, the reset also set this in that direction. I mean, I could jump against this, but I don't think I could do anything. So instead, let's cheat it. I bet this is not really cheating at all. But this is totally the solution. Just jump here, maybe get a little bit off the wall, and then rotate there. Yeah. I imagine that was solved as it was designed to be solved, using blue blocks in it like a red block. It's kind of weird that the play button needs the left click. Feels like the right click should be the more dominant one. I kind of wish these were in opposite directions, honestly, but it's a little too early. It's a little too late to change that. Also, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense, because if I put the left trigger on the right hand, then the hands would move in different ways. So really what I would like is to see it work in a completely different fashion. Yeah, this feels like a collection of puzzles that probably should have been done before we had that previous puzzle with the ball. Like that seems like that's kind of asking a lot. To have one puzzle where you manipulate all of the different colors, and then to come back here and have it be more of a discrete experience. Okay. Let's see. Am I supposed to be doing something with the blue here? Oh, this is the first one that's actually confused me. Like, am I supposed to just kind of stop this? No, because these balls, they should be depicted as holograms, frankly, because I cannot interact with them at all. Unlike Portal 2, where there's spheres that you can interact with like crazy. So we totally interact with the walls, we totally interact with everything else. We are assumedly a solid human being, and so that we have to assume that that it's the sphere that's the problem and not me. Right. And you really do kind of have to stand back, because if you don't stand back, then you'll end up spinning yourself around in circles, which that's not going to help anything in this puzzle. And that triggers and flings way faster than I could manipulate something. So I don't think this is a move with multiple actions in it. Okay. Like, there's one bounce up that it can hit. And I can't just crawl in here, which is fair enough. It does seem like I'm probably too big to fit in there. You can't do anything with these gray blocks, and we're seeing definitely some texture differences instead of it just being all one solid white color. Seriously? Do you think it really is that? That you've got to go back and start from the top? That might be the case. Interesting. Well, we've had a major difficulty spike here. Either I've just totally boned this up and am not figuring this out for like a crazy reason, or this has gotten really, really difficult. I mean, that's fine. Am I supposed to just like let it crawl very slowly this way? Is that it? Because even when that works, that kind of doesn't work. So I need to get the ball. They have a little bit of momentum. I mean, I could try to push the ball the other direction. Yeah, really all you can do is guide it in, though. Man, this would be so much easier. And this isn't a double jump. And there's no press start and reset or anything like this. Interesting. And we're like 10 minutes over. Hmm. This feels like one of those situations where this probably is way simpler than I'm making it. And it's not the game, it's me. Like, the question is, why does that not work right there? And then here's a question, why does this work? Or why does it not work in the same way? Seems like the entire room is slanted in some ways. See, now I've got it sitting perfectly still. But the only other thing you can spin is this. And I don't see how that changes anything, because reds have never been anything but just 3 long. There seems to be a consistent idea here. Yeah, but it has no continued momentum landing on that cube either. I didn't think I was gonna need to cheat this quickly, but apparently I am. Like, this just doesn't seem... Wait, what just happened there? Kind of rolls backwards and slows it down. And then this. Alright, well, then... What does that do, though? Alright, well, we've gone 13 minutes over for this recording. I'm gonna have to look up the answer. This, like, the first 2 puzzles and everything up until this point has been really, really easy, and then all of a sudden it's just like mind-blowing. I have no idea what they want me to do at all. They're not giving me a hint, they're not giving me a clue. Notice also I've been working at this puzzle for that long and it hasn't given any kind of audio hint or anything, whereas most games would not have caused this situation to happen in the first place, and even if they had, the Taos principle in the main game at least would have told you, give up, go try a different puzzle. That was something actually rather nice, and there's even an achievement for listening to the game telling you to give up and go try another puzzle, or not listening to them and persisting in finishing the puzzle. Here I can't do anything else because it's extremely linear, and Portal was linear too. That's probably a bad message to take in a puzzle game. I think an open world concept with some bit of linearity makes the experience a little bit better. That's going to be it for this recording, though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.